Coming up on 10 o'clock right now, thanks for joining us. Firefighters from around the world answered the call to fight LA wildfires after scenes of devastation last week. But one crew out of Orange County drove to fight the flames on day one.
Jen Lammers right now live in Pacific Palisades with Fountain Valley firefighters. Hi, Jen.
Hi, good morning. Yes, we love our firefighters, and as you know, that so many of them have answered the call out here. We're off of PCH, right near the coast, and Captain Brent Waterworth joins me now from Fountain Valley Fire. You were one of the first 5 teams to come out here from Fountain Valley, and you're coming off of a 24-hour shift. Unfortunately, you have the misfortune of ending your day by talking to me. But let me ask you this: what has the last 24 hours been like for you?
So at this point in the incident, we have enough resources to where we're on 24-hour work cycles. So we will come to base at 0700 in the morning and then be assigned out the division. Our strike team's been consistently working in Division Charlie since the incident happened.
Yeah.
So we meet up with our team and we go out and do the work for the day, whatever that might be, for 24 hours. Report back to base, which is where we're headed now, for a rest day. And then if they continue to need us for the incident, we'll be back tomorrow at 0700 to find out when and where.
So it's 24 hours of continuous work. And where do you sleep when you're actually out there in the field?
So we don't sleep on the 24 hours. We're just patrolling or whatever your mission happens to be. Our mission has downgraded from severely intense to less intense as the incidents improve in conditions.
Those first couple of days when you first came out here, what was it like for you?
It was very intense. We were on the initial response for mutual aid from Orange County, and we came in and our job was what we call IA, or initial attack.
Yeah.
And we didn't know how big this fire was. We didn't know how many structures were involved, and there was minimal resources. We went straight into the Palisades, and this company and our team of 5 engines and 2 battalion chiefs fought fire for 3 days before we were relieved. So no sleeping. We didn't really have food. We just kind of grinded it for 3 days and did what we could.
Yeah, I mean, how did you do all that work and not drop? Was it just adrenaline, you would say?
A lot of adrenaline, a lot of just sticking with our teams and kind of supporting each other and getting through it. There were, a lot of really low moments, witnessing the devastation, being physically exhausted, but the community needed us. That's what we do. That is our job, and we just had to step up.
I mean, I know you're going to say that it's your job, right? But there's an emotional toll that takes place. Now that you've had maybe a couple of hours to process what's just happened, what goes through your mind right now?
It's completely devastating. I mean, our hearts go out to the city of Los Angeles and the county of Los Angeles and anyone who was affected by this horrible disaster. It's a very difficult thing to watch, and let alone be that close in it. And we just wish everybody the best of luck.
Yeah, I'm sure there were moments, when you were standing there, you probably felt a little helpless, right? Because of the water situation and just the raging fire itself. With winds like that, it's nearly impossible.
Yeah, absolutely. We had about 80 to 100 mile-an-hour winds. We shared some footage with you of what we witnessed. Just being completely overrun by a firestorm with embers. It was a pretty helpless feeling, but at no point did any of us think we were going to give up.
Yeah, and I know that at least in the evacuation zones, there's a lot of frustration. People can't get back in their homes, but there's a good reason for that. Can you kind of talk about that, because you've seen it firsthand?
Yeah, with that much fire, and then those hillsides still have hot embers with the predicted winds throughout this week. We don't want embers to kick up and then ignite new hot spots and then spread, and we have another situation like we had on Tuesday.
Yeah. And talk about your team out here.
So my team, I've got Engineer Sorensen to my right, Firefighter Voss and Firefighter Dolly. We're a 4-man engine company from Fountain Valley in Orange County, and we are a part of XOR 1421 Alpha, which is Mixed Resources Orange County. We were out here with Newport Beach, Huntington Beach, Fullerton, City of Orange, with leadership from Anaheim and Newport Beach.
And you guys have spent 9 days together now. You know a lot about each other, I would imagine.
Yes, we know a lot about each other. We've been through a lot of lows, but we're still here, and we're ready for whatever tomorrow brings. Doesn't matter. So put us in, point us towards it, and we're going to get it done.
Orange County's bravest right here. Thank you on behalf of everybody in Los Angeles. Thank you so much for the work that you've been doing out here. It's exhausting, I know, but you're doing your best to protect all of us out here. So we really do thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Back to you, ladies.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. And thank their families. Their families haven't probably seen them in so many days, right, Jen? And the fact that they're probably worried about their loved ones out there on the front lines as well.
Yeah, it takes a lot of support. Yeah, your families. I mean, How have they been holding up throughout all this?
You know, we all have families, wives, kids. We can't wait to get home. They miss us like crazy, and they were terrified. A lot of friends and family reaching out, and we weren't able to even pick up our phones. My immediate family, I texted them on the way here and said, it's going to be bad, and it's going to be a while. Don't let that concern you. I'll text you when I can, and I think it was a long time, so it was scary.
What are you looking forward to the most when you actually? So you mentioned that you can't be out here for any more than 2 weeks at a time. Do you have a timetable as to when you're going to be able to go home?
We have a 14-day work cycle, so at 14 days, if this team is still needed on the incident, they will replace the personnel but keep the equipment and keep it going forward. So we know, I haven't mapped out when 14 is yet. I'm trying not to think about it. But like I said, if they need us, put us in and we'll get the job done.
What's the first thing you're going to do when you actually are able to go home?
I think I'm going to go to sleep. As much as probably everyone wants to hang out and hear stories, and I'm good at telling stories, I think I'm going to have to sleep it off for a minute, and then we can talk.
As long as you need. Thank you so much.
Jen, I was going to ask, so many people want to do things for firefighters. They're always asking, where can we drop off food for them? And I'm like, well, they're kind of out and about. You can't just show up with food. What can people do, though, that would directly be helpful and useful to them right now?
Yeah, so they want to know, what can people do that would be directly helpful for you guys out here?
I believe there's all kinds of agencies for, like, the Los Angeles Fire has all these relief funds for fire department. I know we've all talked as a group and as a strike team, and we really feel bad for the victims, the people who lost their homes or have been evacuated for extensive periods of time. I know the Red Cross, American Red Cross is involved, and any other foundation that can help get support to those that really lost a lot.
And you've been doing this for how many years? 20-something years?
Yep, 20-something years at this point.
Yeah, so you were activated. You jumped right in. You mentioned that you didn't even have a chance to say hello to any of the other firefighters. You just kind of went in there as soon as you got out here.
Yeah, that's correct. On the way here, we were communicating on our radios, and then we met PCH just at the base of the Palisades. Once the last engine pulled up, we all just jumped in our rigs, didn't get a chance to shake hands. A few familiar faces, but we just went to work, and it was a couple days before some of us got to kind of introduce ourselves to our own team. It was pretty intense.
You mentioned that you're good on food right now, right?
I'm starting to cut back. They're feeding us so well, so I got to start getting realistic about it.
Appreciate you.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, we got to do what we can. And those sites and resources that he mentioned, that's very helpful because I know so many people want to do something, but let's do something that's going to be beneficial and actually helpful in the immediate future. Jen, thank you.
And I have to say, oh, yeah, Roxy and Sandra. So this is the first time I've actually been out here on the ground in PCH, and driving out here, it really is. It's one thing to see the images. It's quite different to actually come out here and to see the destruction. It physically makes you weak when you see it. It's like nothing I've certainly ever seen before. And the way that the whole landscape has changed out here, and I'm not even just talking in terms of destruction. I'm talking right now about the number of FEMA, the number of National Guard, the way everything's blocked off right now. It really does feel like this coordinated, and you use the word all the time, war zone, but that's exactly how it feels out here. But it really is something to see all the first responders out here just lined up for miles and miles.
Yeah, you could see by the picture the devastation on one side and the eeriness of how deserted the existing structures that are still standing are. And then you see all that personnel, right? The first responders, the utility teams that are hard at work, still going through that area.
It almost, I feel like, Jen, for you and anyone who goes out there, it's almost like you've been teleported and transported to like a completely different place. It's unrecognizable.
It doesn't feel like the PCH or the Palisades or the Malibu that we once knew.
Yeah, it'll take some time, of course, to rebuild and change, but we'll always have those memories, right, Jen?
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people are holding on to. All right, Jen, thank you so much for that report and for talking to that strike team.